Greetings, 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 everyone. Welcome. I'm Joan of Angels, Oracle of Ancient Wisdom, and I am here today with some amazing guests, some outstanding goddesses. So we're sending greetings to all you gods and goddesses around the world. Let us know. I was just going to say, let us know where you're from, and Ohio is in the house. So, guys, this is my dear friend Radha Nyla. Is that how you pronounce it?
Nelia, yes.
Radha Nelia, who is the CEO of Radha Publishing House, and she has published this amazing book. And all of us are in the book, and we want to tell you about being a goddess. So, welcome, Radha.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, ladies, for being here. I'm so excited to be sharing this book, Stories of the Goddess, Divine Feminine Frequency Keepers, with all of you, and also introducing these amazing women who are a part of it, including you, Joan. It's I think it's really special to have a collaboration. And today we're really going to just talk about the importance of the divine feminine and why bringing forward this divine feminine energy, birthing it forward through projects like this. And each one of the women here has her own birthing process of bringing the energy forward. So I'm really happy to be here with all of you.
Should we pop the book on screen for a second on the camera?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that, just so everyone can see it, because it's so beautiful. It really has that goddess energy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I love about it is you're calling us all divine feminine frequency keepers.
Yes.
I found that really fascinating.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Well, I believe every woman that stepped into this project and said yes carries a signature frequency. And the truth be told, everyone on planet carries a frequency, but specifically certain goddess aspects or divine feminine aspects. So I'm so excited about each woman here because each woman carries a unique frequency. And when we really learn to work together, the frequencies become, it's like a harmonic universe of the divine feminine that we're creating. You know, everything is frequency on Earth. So
Sweet. Okay, so we have three of us who wrote chapters, and then we have you who conceptualized this whole project. So where do you want to start, Radha?
all right. Well, let's start with Michelle. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Radha. Thanks for having us on, Joan, and setting this up. This is amazing.
Well, we're going by trial and error, like goddesses always do.
That's right.
How it works out.
Curiosity and adventure.
Guys who are here, let us know where you're from and what, this goddess energy, how it resonates with you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm from a little town north of Seattle called Edmonds, Washington. And my chapter, as I put in my little name thing there, is Freya's Gifts, the Unexpected Energies of Motherhood. And so in my chapter, I talk about my journey as a mother, and this actually kind of unexpected adventure for me of being part of this book, because I haven't necessarily spent, I've been a healer for years, in terms of my work and my practice and my business, but I don't really I haven't really thought of myself in terms of goddess energy or working with goddess energies as part of the healing work I do. And so this has really been an adventure for me to start looking at my work in that a little different angle, and even my own adventure of living from that different energy. And to be part of this group too has just brought that out, that kind of the sisterhood energy, the communion and the co-creation has been amazing.
I had the same thing, by the way. I would never have been talking about divine goddess energy until Radha came on my show. Okay.
I love it though, but each one of you really does carry that frequency, even organically, in the work you do. Michelle, do you want to tell us more about the work you do and how that frequency comes through?
Sure. Yeah. So I work primarily with women in pregnancy, birth, motherhood, that aspect of their journey. But then it ends up being that I have clients who have grown children, and sometimes I have dads who are clients. It's kind of funny how it ends up inviting whoever is actually asking for this kind of change. I work with both hands-on, what we call body processes, which are, using my hands to facilitate and invite the body to change. And then I also do coaching that's like verbal processing, looking at the energy, clearing energy in a lot of different ways. And the body of work I use primarily is from Access Consciousness. My background is years and years as first a massage therapist and then a craniosacral practitioner, then getting very interested in how the body, like situations where one person in a certain situation would not be healing, even though their injury might have been less than someone in a similar situation. So I got very curious about, well, why is that? Why does the body respond so differently? And that led me down this path of the energies of it, the stories, what is their story about what's going on with their body. And that opened up a whole universe. So it's kind of cool, like the stories of the goddess, like that, and how we're in this book talking about our stories and what that has taught us, and also inviting, and especially I think in my chapter, I've not yet had the good fortune to read all the other amazing chapters, but in my chapter, I talk about how the story I came in with, becoming a mom during pregnancy, really got in my way. And then as I got the tools to shift that story, all sorts of new possibilities and ease opened up for me. So what I am always, I say that what I've noticed is almost always my clients come to me with this point of view that there's something wrong about them, that they're doing something wrong, that something wrong needs to be fixed. I actually don't have that story or that point of view about them. I see how magnificent they are, their potency, their power, the possibilities that they could unleash in their lives. And so then I see my role is to hold, I guess you could say, hold a space, but help to guide them, ask some questions, and be the one who can see that the miracle that they are when they can't see it themselves. So so I work with clients both hands-on and in distance sessions, and with coaching and body work and kind of the whole shebang. I love that it includes everything.
Incredible. And do you want to share a little bit about your chapter?
Sure. Yeah. So I talk in my chapter a lot about my journey as a mom. I became a mom when I was already in my late 30s. And so I had pretty set points of view about who I was, what were my strengths, what I thought motherhood would be like from listening to other women talk about their experience, from talking with my, family and friends, and whatever we do where we kind of collect this set of ideas or expectations about what things are going to be like. And I started with this plan to have a home birth, which I had planned and organized within an inch of its life. And then I found out that pregnancy, birth, and motherhood are all about letting go of control. And so that was where and so in the chapter, I talk about that journey, and I talk also about how what I've discovered in that is that a lot of the things that people don't tend to think about in terms of what a good mom is are actually these energies that, this energy of fierceness, an energy of fertility, sex, wealth, and abundance. Those are not things that usually people put in the category of motherhood. And in my chapter, the reason it's called Freya's Gifts is when I started writing, I was looking at how motherhood shows up in the natural world that is so different than how it shows up with human beings, and how we do it or how we think it should be. And I was thinking this was going to be a chapter all about Mother Earth and nature. And I had this awareness that there was some other goddess that was wanting to be part of this, that had things to teach me and show me. And as I meditated with that and looked at that energy, I became aware that goddess was Freya. And the energies of Freya, as I kind of started to educate myself around that, are love, beauty, fertility, sex, war, gold, satyr, which is magic, to see the future. Like, this is all these energies. And when I read it, as soon as I read it, I just started to laugh, because I was like, yeah, that's actually motherhood. That's motherhood right there. All these things we have to bring in. And she's this goddess of fierceness and potency, and she wears her sexuality with pride and with again with potency and is willing to use it to her advantage. And so that's been it's been amazing to bring that in and recognize what I already have been learning and teaching and sharing with my clients about how important it is, how it's not a gift to our children when we turn down those energies, that actually it's more of a gift when we bring, the whole shebang, the whole feast.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Love your chapter. Hello, Maya.
Hi, everyone. I haven't been joining the program that Radha have because I just have my first grandson come to life. So I'm a grandmother for the first time.
Yay.
But I'm a part of the book.
Beautiful. Do you want to share a little bit about your chapter?
My chapter is about what's happening now in the world with Mother Earth and humanity. And it's about the masculine energy that is causing destruction in our planet. And that's why it's very important for the feminine energy now to connect with our goddesses, because as you probably have known, the issues that we have now has to do with the potential possibility of Third World War. I mean, this is very intense. And what's bringing this up, I'm from the Philippines, and there's an issue that's taking place that's big right now between US and China. China being, taking over islands in the Pacific Ocean, from the Philippines, Vietnam, Japan, taking over areas where they don't belong, and it causes a lot of problem. And so now US have sent lots of troops in the countries.
Maya, let's just stay focused on the chapter. Okay, so tell us about
my point is that the feminine energy need to connect more with our goddesses, because it's a very important time of this timeline to really hone in the energy that will bring peace to Earth. That's my point. That's why I'm bringing this up.
Okay, that's
and
beautiful.
It's an important time to really do a lot of prayers and to really call our goddesses to come to planet Earth. So I'm not causing fear for anybody. I'm trying to inspire the feminine energy to really work with the goddesses. That's my point here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So are you working with, who's the goddess that you're working with?
I'm working with the Lemurian goddess, Maria McKilling. She's the goddess of nature, and she assists us when the Filipinos call upon her. Then it lessens out these traumatic things that's happening on Earth, like earthquake, typhoon, natural events that may be happening. Because it's very important to work with Mother Earth, nature, and the elemental forces of nature are powerful. That if we can really work with the elemental forces of nature, it will help us towards our future desire to be in our presence.
Okay, great. That's so fantastic. Beautiful. Thank you. It's so important to just keep bringing it back to the goddess, why we're here, why we're doing this. There's always going to be stuff going on in the world, but we want to stay focused on why we're here. Right?
Thank you. Yes, that's the reason why I'm bringing it up.
Beautiful. So you're saying that if we embody more of our true divine feminine, then we bring more balance. Is that what I'm hearing?
It's very important to really work with our archetypes, our goddess beings, because there's a lot of goddesses who can assist us. And it's a time for the feminine energy to come forward and not hide. We have missions to fulfill as feminine, and being a part to balance, like what you said, Radha, to balance out the peace and order in our planet Earth. And that's why I feel like this book is very important, Stories of the Goddess, because we're honing in our motherhood, our protective nature, our divine feminine coming into being, because as the masculine caused a lot of turmoil in the air, who is in need of power, hungry for power, hungry for
The
control.
distorted masculine. There's a lot of incredible masculine, but we're talking about the distortion of the imbalance. The imbalance.
Yes. I'm talking about the leaders of the country who have a very strong negative masculine tendencies, who's causing problems in our planet right now, and that we really, as as we can bring our matriarch into the picture, and by feeling that into our heart and soul. And that's like my hope, that we become more consciously aware about who we are and what we bring into the picture, because we are truly important as feminine beings to
Yes.
to voice out opinions, to speak our truth, to know what's going on, and to really hone in that energy of love, peace, and sending out positive energy into the air. And I
Mhm.
think we really need to spread that to other feminine beings, that we're here to support that nature of peace, love, harmony, and all of this.
And also the fierce feminine, I hear the fierce feminine coming through you, that, it's true. The voice of the feminine is so needed. That's why this book is happening, because even now, many aspects of the patriarchy are still trying to suppress the feminine in a very underhanded way. In so many ways, you can see that everywhere. But it is so important that we use our voice, that we understand the power and gifts of our womb, of our heart, and those encodements and frequencies that are a part of us. So anyhow, Bonnie, hello. Hi. Yay, so wonderful to see you, glowing goddess.
Thank you. Wonderful to see you all as well. And thank you, Joan, for hosting this and bringing this all on. What a beautiful
Yes, thank you.
experience to be here with everybody. Having this conversation is incredible.
We'd love to hear about you and your story. And I think, like we said earlier, each woman carries her unique frequency and gift through her chapter. So would you mind blessing us with a little bit of yours?
Sure. I spent most of my life studying dance, theater, things like that, and then got married and suddenly just changed everything. I started studying yoga, became a yoga teacher. From there, it was Reiki and massage therapy and body talk healing, and started really getting very interested and delving deeply into energy work and energy healing and those types of things. And still was teaching yoga a lot and absolutely adore teaching, particularly university students. That's just kind of my jam. I don't know why, but I just love that sector of our world. They're just amazing. And then came the time when my mom, who had always taken such beautiful care of me, needed me to step up and care for her. And so I did that, and walked with her through her journey until she flew away with the angels like 6 months ago. And one of the most amazing experiences of my life was walking that journey with her and experiencing that transition with her, and even beyond into now. I'm still feeling the shifts and the changes and the expression of communication that she has with me still. And that is how my chapter in this book came about. And it's called For the Love of Mama. And because, it is about my journey post transition, in that really sort of very, very delicate time when someone transitions, when someone moves on to their next big adventure, and we are still here without their physicality. And it has been such a profound time for me, because just what I experienced during that window of time was so powerful. And the choices that I made to create for Mom what she wanted after she left, and the way that came about is what I'm sharing in the book, as well as how it all was woven together for me. That experience, um, how it wove into and came full circle for me to see her teachings throughout my life, and how it all had sort of culminated to that point. And so the chapter is really about that, and about being able to have the strength. And let me tell you, it takes a lot of it to stand up and do something different than what is considered the social norm when you are caring for someone who doesn't wish to be cared for in the way that our society cares for people at that point in their lives, and for that person who wanted something very non-traditional when they were birthed out of this planet. And it does take quite a bit of strength and stamina to take that stand and do that. But fortunately, she had really prepared me, and the goddess that comes through with that is Earth, or often called Gaia, Pachamama, many names that it's given depending on the culture. But my mom was always such a part of the earth, raised me on an organic farm, and was always, out growing and digging in the dirt and doing things and teaching me those things, and being such a beautiful steward of the land and teaching me those things as well. And so that's sort of my journey and how it culminated into the chapter for the book.
That's absolutely beautiful. I think that's so important at this time to have these kinds of conversations, as well as exploring the raw realness of these, situations, and how we can work through it. Yeah, it's so important to share stories, because we learn from each other. Nobody has all the answers, and nobody has all the keys. We all have a key to a door that opens, and that usually, and the stories in this book are beautiful because there's so many different kinds of stories, and each woman is bringing her key code into this book. And that's I feel like each woman has like a golden key, that she carries. So it's quite beautiful. And I'd love to hear Joan of Angels, because
Okay. So I had to mute everyone if we had a lot of echo. So thank you, Radha, because you really approached me to come in and have an interview a few months ago in the summer. I'm kind of like Michelle. I really never thought of myself divine feminine. I actually had a lot of masculine energy. I ran a very large chiropractic office, and I was just very, I'd say, type A and out there. And even though the last few years I've shifted, I still had never considered divine goddess. And as we talked and being in your presence, and that's why I love the title of the book, Frequency Keepers, because frequency keepers change the vibrational energy. They're responsible for that. And we're on our show on my YouTube channel, going out around the world. And there you are, changing my frequency by talking about the goddess and bringing in the goddess energy. And that, thank you for sharing. Yes, guys, we really appreciate that. And you brought in this goddess energy for me, so strong that I'm sitting there with you online, and when we got off, I actually had visions of Atlantis drowning. So guys, so what happened is she helped reactivate my memories, which I had shut off because, the pain that many of us endured from the others for being gifted or healers or talking to the gods, being an oracle, being that energy healer, that light worker, we were all tortured in various ways. And after Radha, then we did an Akashic record reading, and I remembered that more. I actually had real memories of the trauma that many lifetimes, it's like they wanted to get us good. Let's put it that way. How dare we actually step out of the confines of women as slaves, women as women who So we have emerged as leaders despite the opposing force, despite the masculine, despite all of that was really against us coming through. And so, first of all, the book, Radha, I see it from an oracle point of view, is that the book, it's a time whose time has come, because we all, as women, every woman on this planet has to emerge from this male paradigm where they shut off our voice and made us afraid of our power. And so I'm getting off on a tangent on it, but what's emerging for me is that I became really aware of myself as the high priestess of Atlantis and as Hathor and as a goddess. And for years, I've always known there's something different about me, that I had an essence, but I didn't want to claim it because that would have been egoic. So just like when the psychics used to say you should be doing the readings, I'd go, oh, that's lovely, I'm a psychic. And then I would feel like egoic about it. Oh yeah, look at me. And not understanding what it was, that the greater the gifts are, the more you've contracted to serve in those ways. Even the highest empress, the mother of the divine, works hard, because it's not an honorary, just a title. It's a position where you've said we're going to take more responsibility. So when I felt into writing the book, new energies came forward. It had these memories of losing Atlantis, of losing my status, of losing my tribe. It had these memories of people I knew being tortured for lifetimes. I could see it. It had this memory of my friend Alan, who carried the scrolls out to all these mystery schools around the planet. And then the fact that I'm doing that right now, going around the world, activating these ley lines in these mystery schools, it has brought me to tears. So that's the story. But as I felt into Hathor, and I did a video, there's a video on my YouTube channel about becoming Hathor, I merged with her. And I started studying some of these Egyptian technologies of how the magicians, the whole purpose for Egyptian magic was to actually bring the god into your room so you can talk to them. And guys, I want to bring the angels in, and I want to bring the ETs in. So I'm like going, yeah, bring it on. And as I was writing the book, I had an experience with Hathor and with Ra, where I found myself in their bodies, in their sculptures, rather, the marble statues we see of them. And boy, oh boy, what I realize is that all these gods and goddesses are waiting for us to wake up and almost embody them, so they can be reawakened and their energies being brought forth again in a different way now, and more aligned with humanity than they ever were. And so, Radha, it was the most beautiful experience of my life. And I want to just thank you for it.
Oh, thank you, Joan. That's so beautiful. That that's what it's all about, is we are all awakening from this amnesia, each one of us, and different layers and layers. And I think each woman here is that we're all activating each other, right? We're just it's happening, and it's good. It's powerful. It's positive. We made agreements to be part of this project together long before we came. I believe that. Every book that we curate, I know that there's that soul agreement that we're going to do this. And it's so meaningful, to bring these voices together and to reawaken together. And that's the potency of what happens when the feminine comes together, whether we know it or not. It's happening. There's an alchemical sort of energy happening even in the background, even while we're just processing, while we're doing the promo, while we're sharing. There's an alchemical resurgence, and it's a renaissance of our spirits, of our voices. I believe in the neo-renaissance, bringing forward the voices back, bringing forward. And thank you for that. I just saw that the Divine Masculine supports. We love you too, Divine Masculine. We know that it's been tough on you too. All parties have been attacked, and that's why we're stronger when we come together. whether we're really consciously aware of it or not. We really are meant to collide, like our stars are meant to collide, and we create something actually even bigger, a supernova, together. And this book will have these frequencies that are embedded into them, well, and they'll be here long after maybe we transcend somewhere else, but this is what we're leaving. This is part of our legacy. And maybe, so whatever it is, we're creating something beautiful. We're sort of rebirthing the neo-Renaissance with this, and rebirthing the goddess back on earth through each woman's channel. Michelle, Bonnie, Joan, Maya, the shaman, we're all doing it together. And that's what I've always wanted. I've always wanted to come together and find my sisters, because I always knew that we would always come back together in some way or another, and maybe you felt that stir in your hearts too. Maybe that's why you said yes to joining this. But it's also sharing our gifts. And I love everything you said, Joan. It's so beautiful, your journey. And I'm so grateful that you said yes too, because I know that you were like, I don't know about this. And then, you're like, I'm not into the goddess frequencies. Like, what is this?
What is it going to take for me to do this? It was a lot, but on the other hand, it actually was the next step for me. I think for all of us, I don't know about, but I know from Michelle talking about, but embracing our real feminine side sometimes is a contradiction, especially in a male world. I don't know. Has anyone else experienced that?
Maya, go ahead, Bonnie.
Let's turn your sound on. There's a mute button at the bottom.
There we go. I so resonate with you and your sort of resistance and like, what is this goddess energy thing? I totally resonate with that, because this time a year ago, I was putting together a summit, which I thought was going to be about yoga. And this person who was guiding me through this said, okay, pick up your pen, and right now you're going to write down the title of your summit. And I had all these yoga ideas, and I pick up my pen, and my pen wrote Inner Goddess Summit. And I went, what does that mean? What? Who are you, pen? I had no idea, what is this? And so I ended up doing this summit with 21 amazing women who proceeded to tell me all about the inner goddess. And I started to realize, well, I created a style of yoga that I call goddess yoga like a million years ago. And I'm still sitting here thinking like, oh, I have no idea what this goddess thing is. I don't know. I'm leading goddess yoga workshops, but I don't know what the goddess is. But obviously it took these beautiful 21 women to like pull this out of me and help me step up to that. So then when Radha said, would you contribute a chapter to the book? I was like, well, I guess. I mean, I'm on this little goddess trail that I don't understand, but hey, I'm just going to show up and say, okay, here I am. I'm your instrument. Use me. Let's do what we need to do here. So I really resonate with you, Joan. Thank you for sharing that.
The man's world has been really interesting. I was a chiropractor for many years, and there were things I didn't want to say that were intimidating to really learn how to step up and really be so proactive for my patients and the women who came and the kids, and stand up to the doctors who think they know everything and talk about health from inside. It was an interesting time. But I want to hear from Maya a little bit.
Well, thank you, Joan. I feel like all of us here are really wanting to manifest the feminine energy more in this planet at this time. And just like what Bonnie said, I really I'm totally like, hooray, yes, let's all kind of call the forces of the feminine energy, the motherhood energy, the nurturing feminine, this is our time, and we got to participate. It's a part, and I know that I'm participating right now with my grandson, trying to help raise him. but it's really as important as this one. So I try to make my moment here. But this is a very important time for the feminine and the goddesses within us to really hone in and really like we got to hold on to our goddesses and to our inner being as a conduit of the goddesses too. So this is such an important time. It's a great time because we have all these wonderful things happening behind the scene that we may not even understand how profound this moment is. But we are in between timelines right now. We are between the Kali Yuga and the Satya Yuga. And there is a juncture between that. And this is where we can truly manifest. And so it's important to call upon manifestations to come into being. And as the feminine helpers of the masculine, of the divine masculine, we're here. We have the power to do it. And I hope that women will be more inspired to really hone in their own power and not to shy upon expressing their skills, their important role to play. And it really is the call of the time. That's all I can say about this moment in time. As many things are happening, negative and positive, parts of this planet Earth is taking place. And not only planet Earth, let's go cosmic. We're wanting to be a part of the galactic realm. We are not just, staying here, but we want to recognize the cosmic realm that we are a part of. And so this is a time for us, really.
Beautiful. Yes, it's our time. It's our time to share. We mustn't hold back, and I really believe in so many ways, many of us have had so many lifetimes of being, priestesses, oracles, and, what they say is witches. I have those past life memories. We've all been really, really traumatized to shut down the throat chakra, shut down our heart, shut down our thoughts and feelings about what's going on, and not participating. But this is a call to all feminine to participate, to show up, and to really recognize that your voice is important. Your skills and gifts are important. Everyone here has incredible gifts that you're all contributing to other people's lives, as healers, as medicine women, as oracles, priestesses, shamans. So I honor the feminine in each one of you, the goddess in each one of you. And I'm really excited that this book is going to actually help awaken so many more, feminine, and that we're just we're putting the call out. This is a frequency bandwidth call, just like how we heard the call to come here, right? Many of us have heard the call that this was that for this whole entire cycle, we come down and be part of this long, arduous cycle. And that we're really getting at the end of it now, at this Kali Yuga cycle, as you said, Maya. So, I mean, some people may be familiar, some may not be. Do you want to share on that a little bit?
Yes, Kali Yuga is the age of darkness, and we've been through it. And it's getting more intense because the age of light is about to shine upon us. And this is the time when, many mysteries will take place. Cosmic possibilities will happen to us. So I anticipate for that. And I would like people to know that possibility can happen as we come together in a big numbers, like come together in our hearts, mind, and soul. It's really even in our silence alone, as we project our thoughts out, like we send out our energy, that there's no going to be any blasting of destructive forces out there. Just send it out into our space, into the ethers, and call upon our gods and goddesses to come down and assist in our desire to find peace, happiness, and prosperity. It's possible. Those things are just really behind us. And our job is to really keep the energy coming, the positive energy coming this way. So we have all the potential possibilities to do that. We all have our strength, our inner voice, projections, and it's time to call upon manifestations, because we can manifest. This is the layers now is thinning, and so we can call upon manifestations to take place. So we don't, I call upon my goddess, goddess of nature, Maria McKilling, to support in holding the grounds for peace and protecting Mother Earth from having to experience more trauma for humanity. We don't want that anymore. So my affirmation is that I do not agree to any destructive force that is being set by other beings out into the ethers, and I don't agree with that. So I'm saying this out loud because I'm not in agreement for any wars, any atomic bomb being pushed out into this planet Earth. I don't agree with the dark forces to continue their selfish motives. How about that? Their greed, their destructive tendency, their insanity. I'm calling
About wait, I do not consent. I do not consent. You know, I think that's so important that we vocalize that when we're not in alignment with something, you know, collectively going on. It is actually so important to say, I do not consent. And you can say your full name, but there was so much power in our voice, and that's why do you think it's been attacked over and over and over again, and in lifetimes, in this lifetime, you know, with all of the consensus going on, and you know, there's a lot going on to still keep our voices down, but we just have to keep saying, I do not consent, in our heart and our mind and our soul, and that I'm aligning to the highest timeline, because you know, we're going through timeline splits and things like that. So we want to continuously choose the highest timeline, and also say we don't consent to the pain of this Mother Earth anymore. We're really tired of seeing this cycle over and over, and a lot of this can be prevented. So, you know, the feminine voice is important. You think your voice doesn't matter, but it does. It does. It does. It does. Yes, agreed. Standing up here, push back, boots on the ground. Exactly. We're here with our feet in the ground. And I say, as the world starts shaking and getting more chaotic, we as a feminine we have to ground more, root more, you know, like grow more, grow our branches out, like connect with other feminines. Like this is, you know, the trees are so amazing because they grow their roots and they have a whole ecosystem underground, but they let each other know intuitively, hey, there's danger. Like they share so much information with the roots, you know, and I think we need to get rooted as a feminine again, get back into our roots, get back into ourself, and realize that we have that outreach, you know, that our voices matter. Sometimes we feel so small, and that, oh, there's just too much going on. My voice doesn't matter. I don't even want to try. But no, we are here. We're here for this. We're here for the show. Right, Joan? Right, Michelle? Right, Bonnie?
I would like to chime in on something that Maya mentioned, that it's, you know, the Kali Yuga is a dark time, and it seems to be getting darker. And that brings me to mind of the old saying, it's darkest just before the dawn. And if you've ever stayed up all night, it really is darker just before the sun rises. And this is something I've been telling my students for a long time now, quite some time, is yes, it seems crazy. I started saying this around after 9/11 happened, actually. I was just very, very clear to me that yes, this terrible thing happened, and more terrible things are going to happen, and it is going to seem as if the entire world is losing its mind, and we're going into this dark, horrible thing. But I'm so clear that that is just the process of cleaning house. You know, when you're cleaning your house and, you know, it's a mess, so you start cleaning and you're cleaning here and there and doing everything, and you walk out for a minute for whatever, and you walk back in and you see the house and you go, oh my God, what have I done? It's just like worse than it was when I started, right? but it's because you've drug everything out of the corners and now you can really see it. But once you're done, it's so much better. And this is what I feel is happening now. And I feel so clear that we are moving into a time on this planet that is going to be so much more and so much better than anything we can even conceptualize at this point, because we haven't seen it in these bodies, in these incarnations. And I have such a certainty about that. And I find it so important to share that and to ask other people to hold that space with me, because obviously where we put our attention is what we get. And I think, Maya so beautifully pointed out that it does seem so much darker now, but absolutely, because we are about to burst forth into the light. And last night I had the privilege of seeing Jane Goodall speak. For those who don't know, the almost iconic primatologist from England. And she talked a lot. And I found this so interesting because she's about to be 89 in a couple of days. And she was bringing up, and she kept mentioning her mother. She talked about her mom and how her mother's support had gotten her where she is today. And then she talked about how important the mother is to the child. And even, comparing it with the chimpanzees that she lived with and worked with and still works with, and how in the chimpanzee community, the mother who has a child that she pays attention to, that child moves up in the society and grows and is a much more powerful, let's say, member of their society. And it doesn't matter, apparently in the chimpanzee world, they have ranks and hierarchy. And it doesn't matter, the mother can be from the lowest ranking, but if she really supports her child, the child will do better, even though he's from, or it is from, a lower ranking part of their society. And so I think, to me, because of my experience with my mom, I'm not a mom myself, as in I have not brought forth any other human beings into this world through my body. But from my experience with my mom and other moms, I just think, like, those of you, Michelle, those of you who are mothers, Maya, and now grandmothers, you absolutely, to me, just embody the absolute archetypal goddess in human form. And I think that you are so important, and I'm so grateful for you holding that space and stepping into those shoes and having the courage to do that, because I think it is more important than we even realize. And I'm so honored to be around mamas, and I'm so blown away by going to hear this woman who has worked with chimpanzees. And one of the major points she made is how important the female is in the society, and particularly the mothers. And so I just think it's really beautiful and really important that we honor the mothers and honor the mamas in our society.
It's a good time to hear. That was so powerful about the mothers. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm keeping an eye on the time, and I was thinking Michelle could respond to that, about that energy that you help mothers with.
Well, yeah, and thank you, Bonnie. I appreciate what you said. I get that one of the greatest wounds we probably all have is where we've separated from parts of ourselves, parts of our true being and our true nature. That one of the greatest destructive forces in the world now is where we have this judgment over this is right and this is wrong. This is a good energy. This is a bad energy. This is what feminine energy is supposed to look like. I know that one of my greatest, and I've been thinking about it a lot with what you were saying earlier too, Joan, about your role as like the head of a company and, a busy practice, and that in my family of origin, my mother is a strong woman, and she has magnificent gifts, but she played the role of the yielding one, the caregiver, but also the caretaker. And my dad's energy was this more of was a more intense or dominant energy. And so as I grew up, I actually aligned and agreed with being that more dominant energy, or because that's what I saw as being powerful. And really with having those definitions of this is mom energy and this is dad energy, I actually separated from having the wholeness of all of that, where I am the nurturer and also the one who will like, I was just yelling at them because they're out in the hall, and I told them not to come down here, and they're thundering, and I'm like, okay, guys, and that is not a feminine energy. That is the fierceness that we can also bring. That sometimes what's required to say, like, no, I am making a demand. I'm making a demand of myself to stand up and change this, and I'm making a demand and an ask of the universe to contribute, but a demand that this must change, and whether that be in the sort of the microcosm of our own home and our businesses and what we're creating for ourselves, our passions, our choices, or if it's the macrocosm of the universe and for something different, for a different energy to be unleashed. So yeah, and so that's I had this really cool interview with a man named John Ashford that's on my podcast. You can find it out there in the world, the Calmer Mom podcast. But he was speaking to exactly what you were saying, Bonnie, that requirement of the honoring of the womb, and what a difference. He actually works with men who are in have domestic violence, and he works with them around, if you were not honored, if the womb space of your mother was not honored, that has impacted you as you go out in the world. And if you are not honoring the womb space of the women in your life, that is going to affect next generations. And so I just loved what you said, Bonnie, about just that honoring of ourselves, of the womb space, of women, and also without having to have this like sort of definition of this is appropriate for this person because of their role or their identity. My identity has to include this because I'm a woman or a healer or a mother, and not this because that's something different. And that's, I just think that space, and when we're willing to claim that space of all of us, it's just like if we've just given our children this treasure chest, because then we're saying, yes, you can be that. Because I'm willing to be it too. And that's what it's like, that's generational. That's generation into this future of light that we've been talking about.
I'm just really awed by the kinds of things we've covered today. We don't have a lot of time, so maybe we can, what do you think, Rada? We should just summarize like a short message from your goddess, or?
Yeah, I mean, I just want to encourage everybody that's listening to just grab a copy of the book. I mean, this is our collective gift, right? We're giving it away basically for just 99 cents for a download. And we really want as many people to get this, because you'll be able to read a chapter if you want to read a chapter a week, a chapter a month, however it works for you. But there's so much beauty, so many gems in this book. As you heard from these women, they're brilliant, and I just think it's so important to share the messages and the frequencies they have to share. So make sure you grab a copy, and just know that we just extended our 99-cent promo period. We're going to do it for 48 hours, but I was like, no, so many people are enjoying it, and some people don't even know that it's available yet. So we have to keep sharing. Ultimately, that's what it's about, right? We give it out, we give it away, because what's the use of keeping it all for ourselves? We have to keep giving. And so I hope that you'll join us. We're all a collective, and reach out to each one of these women. I think you're going to be enamored, as I was, reading their chapters, getting to know them, and falling in love with the goddess within yourself too through the process. So thank you so much all for joining. Thank you, ladies, for being a part of this. Thank you for saying a yes. Thank you for the Divine Masculine for supporting us. Thank you to our other sisters that are part of this. You are also welcome. we're open to more conversations. If you want to do a podcast with us too and talk to any of these incredible women, they're all available. And thank you just so much for joining. I really appreciate your time, your energy, and your efforts. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you so much, everyone. And guys, just, don't forget to check out everyone and look them up and go to Radha's website and subscribe, and share the book and our work. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll
Thank you,
all wave.
Joan. Thank you.
All wave.
Thank you, ladies.